What's up, you guys? This is One Classic Gamer here. Welcome you to the final Last of Us Part 2 Remastered video. Yes, that's right. We made it. We fucking made it, you guys. Now, I threw this video together pretty quick, actually, in about a half an hour or so. There's a lot of this video that I'm not going to talk for. In the middle of this video, I'm basically going to be showing you guys the lost levels and the developer commentary, and I figured for that particular stuff, I would just let the audio play the way I normally do and just let you guys enjoy it for what it is. Jesus, I was trying to prevent myself from coughing. But anyways, in the first 5 minutes of this video, we're going to be getting all of the remaining trophies in the story mode. So what I would recommend doing, if you've been following me along here, is selecting permadeath, very light difficulty, and the per chapter reset settings. There are a few trophies here that I didn't capture because I just got them randomly. This one I got randomly because I just loaded up an encounter and all of a sudden, boom, I got specialist. So I don't know how I got that, to be honest with you, but this one's also from... I thought I had this one captured, but I guess I didn't, so I had to pull from my old collectible guide here. This is the first artifact that we missed as Ellie in the beginning of the game during the gate chapter. It's going to be here in this building right here. So, yeah, do the very light permadeath settings. That'll be the best way to get through this shit. And this is our coin that we missed as Abby. We missed 2 coins as Abby. This is the first one we missed when you're heading towards Owen and the aquarium. There's one in the pond here, which, in all fairness, I legit forgot about this one. And the other one that we missed. But, yeah, that's that coin. And now we're getting the workbench trophy. We're just blasting through these like I said we were going to be. So, yeah, like I said, you know, I'd recommend playing this on very light per chapter reset. It's the best way to get through this if you just want to get through this quick. I skipped all the cutscenes and everything, and I was able to beat this whole game again in like 9 hours, which is pretty impressive. It's a 30-hour long game, and I blasted through it in this particular run because I just wasn't fucking around at this point. I had the no return going on at that point, and I wanted to get back to committing to that stuff and just get this playthrough done already. So this is actual footage that I captured on my capture card. You can tell because the quality is way better. Here, this is like right before the whole like hospital chapter where you go down into the hospital to get the supplies for Yara. When you're walking around in this area here, there's a coin back here, and this is going to be the coin trophy for us, so it's about to pop up in a sec. There it is. Now we're going to be getting the supplements trophy, which you get for basically upgrading all of your supplements and whatnot. So there we go, survival expert. And now we're going to be doing artifact number 2, which is all the way at the end here during Santa Barbara. When you come down into this house, this is like the last part of the game where you fight infected. Kill all the infected down here, and the final artifact that I missed is going to be sitting here on this table. And once again, we're about to get the trophy pretty soon. So, yeah, the only trophy I have left at this point, I'm going to get the platinum trophy here too for the main game. There it is, archivist, and there we go, every last one of them. We did it all over again. Got every last one of them. No, it's not funny. So now this is the permadeath trophy. This is the very, very end of the game. Like I said, it's very easy to get through it if you do all those settings. I just skipped through all the cutscenes here so you guys can see me unlocking the trophy. Next up, I'm going to be showing you guys the lost levels, like I said at the beginning of this video, and I am not going to talk for that. I'm going to be showing my initial run through the lost level, and then I'm going to be playing the lost level again a second time, showing you guys all of the developer commentary and whatnot, because I thought it was pretty interesting to hear that stuff. So, for this trophy, when you're done, just skip to the main menu. You don't even have to sit through the credits. Once you get to the main menu, they should be giving it to us soon. There we go. You can't stop this. And 9 hours and 48 minutes. So I will be back at the end of this video to talk during the concept art stuff.
Get off of me! Okay. Fuck Seattle. Okay. Where the hell am I? Down here. Get me the hell out of here. Up and out. Just keep going up and out. Fuck. Okay. Don't lose your shit, Ellie. Shitty place to die. Fucking come on.
In this second deleted level, which is an extended sequence of the sewers in Seattle, this comes on the heels of where Ellie goes into a building and she survives an attack by stalkers and gets thrown out of a window and gets swept away by the current. And then we cut this section that used to be there in the final game. Now you will get to play it. So this was a way to get a bit more interesting puzzles, interesting traversal, figure out how Ellie can navigate the sewers with the fighting current. Ultimately, with a lot of these levels and these sequences, the reason why we cut them were for pacing purposes. But here it is for you in this very kind of raw form that part of it will feel finished, parts of it will feel like assets are missing as far as audio, animation won't be final. But it's a glimpse into what a game looks like when it's months away from finishing. Enjoy.
Get off of me! Okay. Fuck Seattle. Okay. Where the hell am I?
The ladder acts as an immediate goal for the player, but being able to climb out is not going to be so easy. To keep levels interesting and engaging, we alternate between positive and negative values the player experiences. Here, it's a positive to have found a ladder, but then a negative to discover it's not the solution. But then another positive to identify the next short-term goal of the doorway. By alternating between these opposing values, we give players what they expect, but not how they expect it. This level, internally known as Find Nora, was quite long in duration as we had to make Ellie traverse a far distance to the opposite side of downtown Seattle. The sewer section was originally longer than what we released the game with, approximately 10 minutes more. This was one of the few areas of the game that used water flow as part of a traversal puzzle. The player has to go upstream to use the current to get to the platform to reach the other side. We mostly cut this mechanic game-wide, however it remained in essence in the section swinging to the aquarium as Ellie when you were avoiding the waves. When players reach the doorway and enter into the room, they are faced with a dead end. The real reason for this dead-end room is that on the reversal when exiting back out of the doorway, players are faced with the route onwards. A pipe that they'd not been able to see when they were swept past it on the way in, and something that was hidden from view when on the side platforms. The intention here being that the only option is to go off the standard path in order to search for a way out.
Get me the hell out of here.
Throughout the rest of the level, we also used light to indicate to the player that they were heading in the right direction. At each turn, however, we blocked the direct route forward. Players would know that they just have to keep finding alternative paths, promoting those feelings of being desperate and trapped. We slowly introduced the player to consider climbing into smaller pipes and crouching in these tight spaces. This is to slowly build up to and encourage the player to climb into such a small pipe that they'd have to be crawling on their stomach, which is something that the player previously may not have recognised as a playable space, let alone the desired route they need to take. We added a tiny space just to reward the player's exploration with a pickup item, and we made sure it was something that made sense that you'd find in this area. A canister and all the garbage that had been washed into the sewers from the surface. We loved the idea of making Ellie prone through a tiny dirty pipe in order to get out, as it was a great opportunity to use our prone mechanic. A unique camera setup was created to support crawling in these pipes, as the standard prone camera is much higher above the player, We also created custom collision in order for Ellie to manoeuvre in these tight spaces easily. Initially, the oblong collision capsule around her character caused issues crawling around corners. We put extra effort into the custom corner collision so the movement experience is as smooth as the main game.
Fuck. Okay. Don't lose your shit, Ellie.
In order for the player to feel cramped, claustrophobic and desperate, we'd been enforcing the traversal mechanics that allow for a tight environment which promote these feelings. We introduced the use of the squeeze through so that we can keep the player feeling enclosed and tight, but without repeating the same geometry. Here we change from low ceilings with wider walls to high ceilings and tight walls to change up the spatial pacing and keep the level from repeating itself.
Shitty place to die.
Originally, we had the waterline much higher here, so players had to swim through this tight tunnel. However, from watching user test feedback, it was occasionally causing people to discount the route entirely and turn back on themselves. So to avoid any risk of this happening in the final game, we present a lower water level so the tunnel is easy to see and commit to using. Although this isn't as impactful without the prone swim, it's the better decision as it means a smooth experience for the player with no backtracking frustration. We draw the player towards this pipe as it is seemingly the route out of the tight space. Fairly soon it is obvious that this path is blocked. If the player goes all the way up to the bars that block the path, they are rewarded with a pickup so this journey doesn't feel wasted. It is important to encourage the player to try to progress along this path so that they would subtly be thinking of progress in this direction. We hint to the player that there is a bigger, new space beyond this pipe by showing the player the waterfall. This helps players consider the other route where they don't know how far the tunnel is or whether they'd make it. As we surface from the water and over the crest of the slope, we reveal what is further in this tunnel. A clicker that has sprouted and the fungus has grown on the sides of the pipe. It was great to see people who user-tested this area becoming increasingly worried as we forced the player to squeeze past the fungus and inches away from the clicker's face, all the time not being sure whether the clicker might be alive or attack them. Although we aren't as cruel as to force a clicker attack in such close proximity, we do have a payoff for this moment. This clicker momentarily turned into Joel to show Ellie's PTSD from what happened to Joel at the start of the game. Ultimately, we decided to save this moment for the farm level, as it was more impactful there because it could become the centrepiece of that experience. Whereas in the sewers, we weren't able to make it as much of a narrative point and give it the breathing room and reaction time that it deserves, given the tight space.
Oh, shit!
For the final section, we eventually opened you out into a wider area as you traverse through such tight spaces leading up to this. So changing the environmental pacing makes it begin to feel like we're coming to the end of Ellie's ordeal. An earlier iteration used the current that we'd shown at the start for a slightly tougher traversal puzzle to conclude the sewers. The ladder was clearly visible from most of the area, but the player was faced with a fast-flowing torrent of water they couldn't cross. If the player attempted to jump into the water, they were not able to swim across the ladder due to the water's speed, but instead they had to traverse the pipe running along the top of the space in order to get across the water. This is the first time we get to see stalkers that are embedded
Right.
into the walls. So this optional room is a nice little early extra that the player gets if they explore. We also use the pickups to lure players over to be close enough to trigger the stalker's attack. This caused quite a few jump scares with user testers who played our game before its release. Using this pipe was retained in the iteration we shipped with, as it's the last of the extreme methods Ellie has to undergo in order to escape the sewers, and what she will go through in her pursuit of revenge. The last ladder climb is quite lengthy, and although we could have trimmed it down to a shorter climb, we liked how this last segment of the journey built anticipation for whether there was success at the top or not after all you've been through. Ultimately, the ladder exits out into the subway station, which is how it connects in the final game. Ellie then has to find her way to the hospital from here, crossing paths with the scars for the first time.
You're about to play an unfinished level from The Last of Us Part 2. The reason we added this section is there are a few sequences, and we picked the 3 of the best ones, that we cut from the game. Often we build a game that's much bigger than what ends up being the final product. They were months away from being finished, but we wanted to give you an insight of what it's like when we built a game, because often we have this whole thing constructed and it doesn't have final art or audio or dialogue. And here you get to see the building blocks of what it's like when we first string a bunch of these levels together. This is the intro to the first deleted level, and this one is the roughest of the 3. We wanted to show more of how Jackson operates. So this is the festival where Ellie ultimately kisses Dina. This sequence would have come very late in the game as a flashback sequence while you're in the farm with Dina. And we wanted to show what is the rest of Jackson doing, and wanted to put on the stick, make it interactive. So you could see when you're outside, there are all these almost like carnival games that you can play. You could mix drinks, you could play with these kids that are playing a sort of clicker Marco Polo, sit down and listen to conversations. And all the different interactions were first or second pass, very, very early passes. The building blocks are there, but nothing is final. And ultimately, while we were very excited by this sequence, it's pretty fun and lighthearted. It just slowed things too much as we're barreling towards the end of the story at this point. So again, reminder, rough, missing audio, missing animation, missing gameplay tweaks, missing dialogue, but pretty representative of what it would have been. So enjoy.
Originally, this level was going to transition us to farm. We would go all the way through to the dance, where Ellie and Dina share their first kiss. Then we would play through farm, and when Ellie plays the guitar at night, she would remember the Seth incident. So, the opening for this was a little tricky. We needed it to match at least a little what you might expect emotionally coming from prior beats, because we were already purposefully disorienting you in time and space. Remember, you just came from this huge fight. To jump straight into it would have been a little too jarring. After some back and forth, we rooted it in Ellie's nerves, calling back to her hands shaking in the theater. But this time, for a much more innocuous reason we'll find out later. She's nervous because she has a crush on Dina, who is the only reason why she's here at the dance. Something we really wanted to do was highlight the way their lives had turned upside down since she went down this path. We had this idea of recontextualizing all of our usual gameplay mechanics that were designed for really violent ends. The workbench, door bashes, throwable weapons, and even the infected, which is my personal favorite. Peppered throughout the level are moments of levity or shared history, all the while seeing how happy and mundane they all were before her huge revenge odyssey. It is not a festival without one of these throwing games. This one, of course, uses our throwable system where you're often chucking explosive things or stunning things, but for a more wholesome purpose, although some people take this game really seriously. A fun aspect of this is if you did well, you could win a toy here. Ellie would place it in her pocket. If you had done this, you'd find the toy with JJ, the baby, later back at the farm. When we cut this, the toy made it through anyway because it was so cute. It is the same one you see on the tractor at the farm. Ollie the elephant. The makeup artist is pretty simple. It's one of those little in-game scenes we peppered in to make it feel like Ellie had roots in the town. Hallie, our writer, mentioned that in her mind, an ex-girlfriend of Ellie's tattooed her arm to cover up her scar. So we figured this might be the only time you get to see that. We wanted to hint at it and allude to it and make it feel like there had been so much more that had been happening and so much more that Ellie threw away. This is one of my favorite sections because I think that it achieves both the slice-of-life aspect of Jackson while also being a stark reminder of how dark the world that they live in really, really is. To attract attention and curiosity, one of the kids was supposed to make this adorable, messed-up little clicker impression, and the others would giggle. We tried a version where if you got close enough, the kid might try and follow you a little before turning back. Since clickers are blind and move by echolocation, for this game of messed up tag, Ellie must close her eyes and listen for when the children give themselves away. The thought was that these kids are in relative safety. They still grow up with the dangers of clickers and runners, and all those lessons would embed themselves in the games that they play. When the festival got cut, they tried to preserve this moment and move it to the front of the game where the snowball fight is, as a tutorial. However, being in the headspace of a clicker doesn't really teach you how to deal with them. Eventually, it evolved, and they instead made the snowball fight, which was, I think, way more effective. For me, it's character illuminating that not only does Ellie know this game, she plays along. There's a familiarity with the kids that's really nice to see, especially because it's such a difference from the Ellie we see later, who has a sort of hollow normalcy that she's trying to get with JJ, but kind of fails. There's a hidden spot at the back that was just a bit of fun. It was highlighting Jackson's normalcy with something we would find in a real world. In the back, you would find teenagers finding some alone time with each other in a dark corner of a party. It was rewarding the player for peeking into a hidden corner, but ultimately redirecting them back to the festival. We also had versions of them smoking weed here, despite Maria's consternation, probably having gotten it from Eugene.
Where are you? Where's the blood? There it is. Definitely not. Gotcha. I can't see shit. got you. It's over. Nowhere to run.
For this third and final deleted level, what we call the boar hunt sequence, this was a sequence pretty late in the game. It was right after the whole Seattle Abby sequence where Abby spares Ellie. And then we wanted to come back into Ellie's story, but keep it a bit mysterious of how much time has passed, where is Ellie now? So we're coming in on Ellie and she's following a trail of blood. And we wanted to mirror in a way the deer hunt sequence from the first game, but this time do it with a boar. And there's something with Ellie that now she can't let go of this violence. She's pursuing it, even against this innocent animal. This was another opportunity to show how the violence that Ellie has experienced, the violence that she witnessed being afflicted onto Joel, is still sticking with her, and she's still experiencing these PTSD moments. This was a sequence that was pretty far along and was cut pretty late in production. Parts of it are still really rough, but the gameplay, the building blocks were all there. I think you'll have fun to see, like, again, a rough, unfinished sequence that you can play. You can see all the way to the end, and including a cinematic that we end up cutting. And the remnants of the sequence ended up being mentioned in Ellie's journal. So this part of the story that we developed still made its way into the game as kind of optional stuff that you could read about, but here you get to experience it. So as a reminder, this is pretty rough, months away from being finished, but you get to see it now.
So the boar hunt was one of the hardest levels for me to work on. It was a huge challenge with the systems that we had, and we kept trying, but it never felt quite right. Originally, the level happened after the Jackson Festival, which also got cut, but before Farm. Once the festival got cut, it became the prologue to Farm. The intended experience is that we jump forward in time after the fight with Abby in the theater. We don't know where Dina is. We likely assume she's dead because she was just bleeding out. Ellie is alone. Her hair is short. So maybe this is the future or the present. And she's hunting. Hunting who? Abby still? In early iterations of the fight, it was more arena-like. The player slowly whittles down the boar's health. Ellie gets more visceral and more vicious. We get a little worried about her. As the boar gets weaker, more panicked, more feral, and we start feeling sympathetic to the boar was the hope. In all of these iterations, especially of these wider areas, it required custom AI and scripting to make sure it continued to feel organic as an animal, but we really needed it to do specific stuff. It needed to be able to close distances really, really quickly, It needed to charge to attack, but we wanted the feeling of hunting, so we needed to track it down from afar. And we also needed to discourage the player from attacking the boar when it's that close, or it would kind of turn into this melee kerfuffle. How do we do this in our world while keeping the boar believable? We must have gone through 5 or 6 iterations of the boar fight and all, and every single time it changed pretty drastically. We split it into clear phases, where one was like all long range. We tried another where you're getting close and you get the jump on it quite literally. You're jumping off of a rock to attack it. And then finally, we tried a bunch where you almost sort of go around a bunch of trailers and try and wrestle it. We uncovered after some time that taking down a boar over several phases felt very laborious and a little dramatic. It was comically long, it felt too boss-like, a little too gamey. We decided to cut the first few phases, and we opted for a cold open after the boar had already been hurt off screen. So that allowed us to focus on feeling like we're closing in on prey and to introduce the boar when it was at its most dangerous. Already hurt, already feral, much too close for comfort. And so the thinking was it would bring us more into Ellie's mindset. Is this really hunting for food, or is she hunting for some other reason? The gas station was built to highlight the boar's destructiveness. Since it's cramped, the boar feels larger. We also feel trapped with it, though perhaps it's trapped with us. When it charges, it gets to us quickly, so we must be on our toes. This made it more aligned with Ellie's sort of hunting for trouble mindset. Listening became more important, as well as moving around slowly so it didn't hear you. Could you spot it before it saw or heard you? And could you get a shot off quickly enough so you could dodge out of the way? Or is the shot worth the cost after? It feels like a gamble. By the end of the fight, everything would likely be in shambles. The boar would burst through the back, and Ellie would follow it and finally enact revenge.
Okay. I can't see shit. Got you. It's over. Nowhere to run.
The boar kill was supposed to be anything but glorious. With the boar whimpering at the back of the gas station after Ellie's relentless hunt. After this, hearing the drone that we kind of come to associate with Ellie's trauma, we would hard cut to the stream where she's washing her hands and holding rabbits that she hunted, about to return to Dina. And there would be no mention of the boar.
Okay, so I have a little bit more time to breathe and talk here. I don't have to talk as fast because I'm showing you guys the concept art now and the other stuff. So I figured I would take this time to give my thoughts on the lost levels and whatnot. I think they're actually pretty interesting. In concept, I think they're interesting. In execution, I can see now why they didn't include them in the game. I feel like the one scene that I probably would have enjoyed seeing in the game is the boar hunt. And it's kind of cool that they added that in to the game still. When you look at your journal entry, you can still read about that. But, Jesus, excuse me. Yeah, I'm not even tripping about making this commentary perfect. I don't give a fuck. I am, like, so done at this point. But, yeah, I enjoy the boar hunt. And the sewer one, I think, is pretty cool, too. The winter dance is also cool. it's incredibly unfinished, so it's like we're never gonna really get to see, you know, how that would have turned out, which is kind of sad. It looks like they had the actors record the lines because they had the subtitles up there and stuff, but like, you don't even get to really hear them during that part, which is kind of unfortunate. But yeah, I do think the lost levels are cool, you know, but I do honestly get why they cut out the lost levels and decided not to include them in the game because this is a game that's already like jam-packed full of content, you know, and I don't really feel like it needs it, you know. Plus I feel like the whole like reveal of like Ellie's PTSD hits harder in the original game when you're chilling on the farm for a bit and then, you know, you have that little moment where it's not really a little moment, it's a pretty big moment where she's herding the sheep into the farm and then, you know, the little one gets out and she's approaching the little sheep and then the shovel falls and we get a flash to that whole image of Joel dying and then she goes through that whole like PTSD episode. So I feel like having that and then putting the boar hunt like right afterwards would have been pretty interesting, you know. I do think that would have been interesting because it kind of just cuts and we come back and Ellie has rabbits that she's hunted. And yeah, I mean, I can get why they wanted to keep the story moving. That is a pretty slow part of the game, so I can understand why they didn't do that, but I really feel like that scene could have hammered home the fact that Ellie is like just traumatized after this whole event, you know. But again, like I get it, like I understand why they cut it out. I think they're cool, and I enjoyed playing through them and seeing them. I didn't really watch them this time. I already know what happens, you know. I just am trying to get this video up and done already because this is the last video and I am just super anxious to get this playthrough wrapped up and finished already, you know. So we got some infected concept art here. Some of this concept art looks really fucking cool, like I'm not even gonna lie, and you can tell this is my first time looking at this stuff because I'm unlocking everything. But yeah, I didn't think I would be able to fit No Return and this excuse me, this whole bonus video into whole week's worth of videos, but here we are. You know, I did it. I don't know how I did it. I went against my own rules and kind of decided to just, you know, fuck it, I'll just edit these, get these out of the way when I'm on my break so that when I come back from my break, I can just put them up and not have to worry about really working on them or editing them. I have done a Tears of the Kingdom video as well. I haven't edited all 5 of those yet. I've just edited one. So, I mean, those I think I'm going to do like later. You know, I really, really need a break and I'm at a point where I need to focus on my shit again, you know. So hopefully in the next 2 weeks, you know, I mean, because I'm halfway through my break right now. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks I'll be better equipped and I'll be able to come back and return to this again. And I hope you guys enjoyed these videos, to be honest. I know I'm scrolling through this concept art pretty quick here, but I'm trying to follow the whole rule of my computer and not being able to render videos at a certain length. I'm trying to keep this at a certain length, you know? But yeah, this was fun. I really, really... I went through a full 180 with this game because if you go back to like my Super Mario Bros. Wonder playthrough, which I know is completely random, a completely different game than this type of game. That was when like I first talked about this remaster when it was first announced, and I was like giving my thoughts on it, and I initially thought that this was a waste of time coming back and playing through this game again, and I didn't want to do it. The reason why I didn't want to do it is pretty well known at this point. I've gone over it multiple times in this playthrough, but the reason why I didn't want to go over it again is because, I played through this game last year around like July, August ish, and beat it on Grounded for my first time, and had a really, really hard time. But now I'm like super grateful and glad that I stuck it out and played through the whole thing again, because I do feel genuinely like a lot better at this game, you know. And if they do give us a part 3, which I'm really, really hoping they're working on right now. Naughty Dog has announced that they're working on 2 projects right now. One of them is their new IP. We all know that. Whenever they're going to announce that is up to them. It's kind of up in the air. I kind of wish they would give us something. You know, I mean, they gave us the Grounded 2 making of this game, The Last of Us Part 2 documentary, which was really interesting to see. I would highly recommend you guys watch it if you've got the time, you're at home, you know, like, it's pretty long. It's like 2 hours, but like still, like, it is a interesting documentary. If you liked the first documentary of the first game, like Grounded 1, Grounded 2 is also really interesting. You know, they go into like everything. They address the controversy, the hate that this game got, the leaks. They address pretty much all of it. And they also show the making of, you know, which I think is just cool. You know, as a huge Last of Us nerd, like, that is like stuff that I really, really like enjoy looking at and seeing, you know. So I'm trying to burp, but I can't. I just woke up. I should have chosen a different time to record this, but I don't give a fuck. I'm trying to just rip the band-aid off and get it done at this point. So, yeah, I don't really know what else to say at this point. I was hesitant to play this game and cover it again on my channel, but Jesus Christ, I did anyway, and I'm grateful. I'm glad that I did. I had a great time playing through the story mode again. I really, really did. Would I ever do it again? Yeah, I could see myself doing it again. I can't see myself playing through No Return again, honestly. Like, I don't know why I stopped here. I think I'm like on my phone or something, but whatever. I'm about to get back to it. I'm not fucking cutting this out. I don't give a fuck. You guys can dislike, comment, whatever you want, you know. Any feedback is better than no feedback, I guess. But, I mean, this is going to at least be a better bonus video than Part 1's bonus video, which was really short. There's a lot more to see here and consume here in this video. But, yeah, I'm never going to play through No Return ever again. So I don't really want to hear anyone asking me or requesting me to play through that again, because while those videos are probably going to be fun and you guys are going to enjoy them, I hope, and I put a lot of work into the editing of those, I hated playing through that mode. I thought I was going to love it and enjoy it. It was quite the opposite. I did not enjoy that mode at all. That was such a tough fucking mode to get through. It was very, very tedious, very redundant, and it just dragged after a while. So when I finally got it done, I was just like, yes, you know, it was like that perfect feeling. That like very accomplished feeling of, granted, I did cheat the save file and save data on that May Your Death Be Swift trophy, and I feel like if I never did that, if I didn't cheat that in the last video, I probably still would not have that trophy. I probably would never get that trophy, to be honest with you guys, because completing a run on Grounded is one thing. Completing a daily run on Grounded is a completely different thing. It's really fucking hard, and it is not honestly advisable. You have to be like one of the best fucking players in the world to like play through that shit on Grounded and make it through it. Even like YouTubers like Gamer ANH, like I actually commented on one of his videos and was like, you know, kind of like, hey, Gamer ANH, like Mr. ANH, have you tried to complete a daily run on Grounded yet? And he's like, I haven't attempted that yet, but he basically gave me some advice, which I thought was pretty cool. He was like, if you want to survive a run on Grounded, you have to, you know, save your ammo for the bosses, you know, only do stealth and whatnot towards the end of each encounter, and take cover basically after each and every single shot, which I'm like, yeah, that is exactly how this game works. You know, like when you're in the middle of combat, like you need to take cover because the enemies have that precision. They're really, really dumb on the easier difficulties, but on Grounded, they're like hella smart, and they can detect you very easily and kill you like that. So I mean, I've seen YouTube videos where people do the daily run trophy on Grounded and they exploit the save data, and they also activate the cheats where every time they aim it goes into slow motion and stuff like that, and they, you know, only have like the boosting mods on and whatnot. Like I could have done that too. I could have gone that far and cheated even more, but I was like, no, I'm gonna just exploit the save data, and I'm still gonna beat this on Grounded and show a genuine run. But yeah, I mean, I'm talking about the last video. This is like a completely different video, but whatever, I don't care. So we're almost through the rest of the concept art here. Little side note, I didn't even know this until recently, but that fucking part during the epilogue, not this part, the Santa Barbara part, where Ellie gets caught in that trap and gets impaled by the tree, and those two guys come up to her. I did not fucking know this until now, but like that the Asian guy, not the big dude, the Asian dude, if you guys know what scene I'm talking about, the guy who's like, this bitch is fucked up, like that guy, that's fucking Logic the rapper. I didn't even fucking know until recently that that's Logic, that he's in this game. But yeah, apparently he's in this game, which I thought was really, really cool, you know? So this is the rest of the concept art. I'm going to be showing you guys the guitar play free mode and the model viewer and whatnot as well. I will not be showing you guys any of this stuff because honestly, you can watch it in your own time. So this is a guitar free play. I just opened this up for a second just to like screw around and show you guys it. But yeah, I mean, the crazy thing about the guitar in this game, I think I talked about it in look at me just like jamming it out. I think I talked about it in my playthrough for this game back in 2020 when it came out. But you know, the guitar physics in this game are very realistic. Like it acts a lot like an actual guitar. So if you know how to play guitar, then you can play like legit songs on the guitar in this game. So Jesus Christ. Here we're checking out the skins. There's some of them that I've already gotten unlocked because of no return. Some of them that I still have to unlock, as you can see. But yeah. In summation, in conclusion, I enjoyed this game a lot. I really had a good time playing through it. I could see myself playing through the story mode again. I'm probably never going to touch No Return again, ever. Even if I have, like, friends over, I'm probably never going to, like, touch that mode ever again, because it is very, very tedious, and I feel like if I didn't do it on very light, it would have taken me, like, fucking 10 times longer. Maybe not 10 times. It would have taken me, like, at least, like, another, like, 15 hours, like 15, 20 hours max to get through everything, you know? It just wouldn't have been possible. If you guys watch my update video that I did when I said I was going to be going on break, I explained that I'm kind of in a position right now where I need to focus on certain things, and that needs to take priority at this point. And now that I'm finally done with this video, I can put this all behind me and just relax. And I am going to relax. I am not going to edit or record or anything. I am just going to finish this video and then boom, get straight to work today and work until I need until I feel like I'm comfortable coming back. I'm still aiming for a month. It might be more than that. I don't know. I mean, you guys aren't going to know like ever. And by the time this video comes out, I'll be back from my break, hopefully. So, yeah, these are all the filters. Part 1 had these two, which I thought was pretty cool. I'm never going to use any of them. Like, why would you play the whole game with some of these? I don't get it. Like, the cool one I could see. Vibrant, yeah, I could see that. Noir, yeah. These are cool. Sepia, no. I would not play on that. But, yeah, I'm just showing you guys this stuff anyway because it's cool and I enjoy it. Overall, I mean, I reviewed this game when I finished the story mode. I'm just going to let go of the deaths and failure that I had in the final video because I don't really feel like you guys are interested in seeing that. So I'm going to make this the last video. I think 25 parts is pretty solid for this playthrough. It's impressive that I was able to make it just as long as part 1, if not like just one part longer. You know, I really, really enjoyed that. But damn it, Naughty Dog, give us something new, please. Quit it with these remasters. Give us a new game. Or announce something, please. Announce to us that you're working on part 3. We know you motherfuckers are working on that shit. Like, stop hiding it from us. Yeah, like, I'm just really excited to see what they do next, you know? Ultimately, I'm trying to retire my channel, to be honest with you guys, and if I do retire it at some point, it's retired. But if they release a part 3, I may have to break that rule and come back and cover it. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, this was like another 10 out of 10 experience for me. The main game's a 10 out of 10 experience. The fucking no return mode is like a fucking 5 out of 10. You know, 6 out of 10 if I'm being nice. But I don't really feel like being nice right now. So, yeah, I'm just showing you guys the rest of the model viewer here. And this video is pretty much done at this point. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please comment, like, or dislike, subscribe, share this with your friends. I would greatly appreciate it. I put a lot of work into these. Yeah, I think I went back in the model viewer here because I wasn't sure if there was anything left for me to see, but there really isn't. So I'm done talking for now. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you guys on whatever game I decide to do next. Peace.